Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast with your hosts, Jason Balin and Ian Horowitz.
Ian, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. You tuning in from your house today?
I'm tuning in from the house. I just got home. I was out with Ryan. I stopped by the White House, checked out all the windows and the roofs going in, stopped by gas lights, seeing what was going on over there. We had an energy audit right now with Ryan to go handle some business. Now I'm back home to clean up all my paperwork. So
Nice. Cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about our Raising Capital Meetup group that's coming in tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. And then we're going to chat related to a recent Mastermind experience that Ian just had. Figured tune in live, kind of bring everybody up to date. So related to our Raising Capital Meetup group, tomorrow night, Wednesday, we are doing our meetup group. Is third Wednesday every month. We're talking about legally raising and securing investor capital with attorney Michelle Bresnick-Walsh. So super excited about that. You know, I don't know about you, Ian, but like one thing related to raising capital in general is, you know, there's a lot of information about the business side of raising capital, right? We talk about it all the time. You know, it's not hard to raise capital and get money for these deals. It could be borrowing money from a private investor. It could be partnering with a private investor. There's a lot of different options, but just because you're doing it, you know, a certain way doesn't mean you're doing it the legal way. So I'm excited to kind of hear her thoughts, and it's going to be interview style, and we're going to have a good time talking to her.
yeah, not only is it going to be interview style, but you know, at the end, it's going to be as interactive as we possibly can make it, or you know, you as the audience that want to make it. You know, the content's here for you guys. As much as we learn, you know, we want to make sure that everybody that's involved gets to learn, you know, and that the content is around what you guys want to hear. And I'm really excited to have Michelle on, you know, to discuss some of these topics, because it's a common topic that comes up at a lot of masterminds, a lot of events, a lot of, you know, just real estate in general. We were literally looking to buy a truck today, and the guy got talking to me about real estate. He's talking about real estate. How do you finance these deals? Where do you even find the capital? Where do you find deals? You know, it's similar discussion every time. And, you know, and when it comes to raising capital, you really need to understand what you're doing, what you legally can and can't do, and how to protect your investors, right? Like that's the ultimate goal here.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is protecting whoever's putting up the money. It's got to be treated as you can't lose a penny for an investor. It's the most important thing. So I'm glad we're bringing in Michelle to talk about the legal side of this. I think, you know, for those who are experts who have raised lots and lots of capital throughout the year, it'll be a refresher of, you know, maybe there's change of laws or new things that you can do now that you couldn't do years back. And also just kind of the creative structures of different ways to structure some of these deals. And then if you're newer and you never raised capital before, it'll really be good to hear kind of the legal side of things.
Well,
so.
And if you want to invest in deals, right, like at a certain point, you can only do so many deals, right? Like we can all only do so many deals. At a certain point, you might look at investing capital into other people, and you want to know how to protect yourself. You know, that's something that we've been interested in recently in some of the new asset classes on how to be able to deploy more capital. And we want to know what legal structures we should be looking at to protect ourselves and protect our investors. So
exactly. So Ian, I heard you were gone this past week at some Mastermind event, the recent Mastermind experience. Give us all the rundown of that. You know, what was that about?
Yeah, you know, so Terry Royce did put on a very nice event. It's called his Vacation Mastermind Group. I think that's where the name is at right now. And it was a group of 7 of us that went out, and we discussed 4 main topics. We kind of did it a little bit different than what most, you know, like hot seat type ones are, where we actually just sat down and discussed 4 topics throughout the weekend. Actually, it was during the week, you know, and that was something that was cool to be able to do that we normally not able to do. With that being said, it was a really good time. It's good to get out there and talk to other people and see that they have the same issues that you do. You know, everyone's growing a business here. A lot of people feel alone, like they're on an island. And Terry was able to bring the 7 of us together and have a discussion about real topics, real life stuff, and create a bond and unity that allows you to share these experiences. And I know, Jay, you've been involved in a lot of masterminds, and I would say not only personal ones, but business ones are really what help make you grow your business.
Sure. Now, were all these other masterminders, if that's the term, were they all real estate investors?
Yes, it was all real estate investors. I think you know pretty much all but one of them. We've interviewed all but one of them here on this show. And guys have W-2 jobs, full-time real estate investors. Other guys are running a coaching business and investing in real estate. And then some guys are just straight up real estate investors. And, I think something that gets lost, and I think this common theme topic came up several times, is that your business and your personal life are completely intertwined. And a lot of people try to say, oh, well, I'm at business, I'm doing my business thing, and I'm at home, and I'm doing my home thing. Yeah, that's fine. But your mind's racing all the time, and these things are completely intertwined. And I think a lot of people need to respect that these things are intertwined, and how you mitigate or how you navigate this process and dealing with these two very large animals, to say the least.
Gotcha. What's one big takeaway you got from last week?
No, I actually got my a takeaway list over here, but something that I wrote down that came up, and it's kind of a quote that's been hacked, and I stole it and was able to repurpose it. But be intentional with our time, our money, our health, and our lifestyle, right? Like those are like the four main topics we want talking about. And those are the four things that we should all be intentional in. And yes, it's hard. Some days, you go get some fast food because you got a billion things going on. That's not being intentional with your health, right? But if you make a conscious effort every morning to say, I'm going to be intentional with these four things, I think you can go a lot further and do a lot more things and advance and make your life easier, whether it's at home or with your business.
Yeah,
Jay, you're intentional with your money. We talk about it all the time, right? Like you have buckets that you put your money into. That's being intentional with your money. So when you're at work, you work for a reason to be able to deploy your money into these buckets to ultimately make your lifestyle better, right? Like we're intentional with a trainer. So we actually go to the gym 3 times a week. So we stay in some sort of condition, right? Like that's how we're intentional by it. So, it's not saying you literally need to be like, oh, I need to do this exact thing, but take the time, take a stop, take a deep breath, think about what you need to get done.
Well, there's got to be structures associated with this, and I'm going to bring up Jesse Itzler in a little bit because I'm infatuated with everything that all the content he's putting out and his books. Like it's really, really interesting, and I can relate a lot to him. He like the way he operates. I enjoy, right? Like he's relatable, like, and it's interesting. But one of the things related to it, and we'll talk about how he structures things, and he probably structures a little bit more than people want because he structures everything down to like the freaking minute, and the freaking day. Like he'll tell you what he's doing, in 360 days from now because it's already aligned. But the important part is whatever that structure is. It's got to be the best time to do it's first thing in the morning, right? Working out first thing in the morning, reading books first thing in the morning, getting your big things done first thing in the morning, because if you start waking up and start playing defense from the beginning, you're playing defense all day because it's hard not to play defense. I know we all want to play offense, but defense just comes more natural. And the reason why is because defense is reactive and offense is proactive. And although we might all think that we're proactive people, and we certainly are, if you start doing proactive things, you're going to continue to do proactive things. But if you kind of jump in, sit in front of your desk, start reading some emails, start doing this, next thing you know, someone else is controlling your calendar and controlling your email and controlling your life. If you can just shut everything off and whatever those four things are that you just said, Ian, and I have my stuff related to that, right? Your mind and your body and your wallet, and working on all that stuff on a regular basis. And yourself, you take care of that stuff, a lot of times before potentially 9 a.m. before the workday might even start. Let's just say the ordinary workday might even start. You might have everything done. And I'm not stating everything. I'm saying like the most productive things done that, hey, if I don't get anything else done before the end of the day, I know I'm good. So, and we'll keep talking about this mastermind, but I want to pivot it for a second just to talk about this Jesse Itzler calendar club that learned about that I really like, and I've been following a lot of his stuff. And one of the things that he does is like he's really strict on his calendar, and he works his calendar complete opposite of everybody else. So like, Ian, what are you doing between June 1st and December 31st? You have no idea. I have no idea.
No.
Right? Like you might have a vacation planned, you might have a wedding booked, you might have this and this. Like your calendar is going to get booked up as time goes along, and it's going to get booked up on things that other people are probably putting on your calendar that you have to do, not necessarily things that you've already pre-planned. And on his end, he maps out a year in advance at any given time, right? Like right now, he's like, wait, what's today? May 18th. So he's like, okay, you know, his calendar is booked through May 18th, 2021. And his game plan is he puts everything on his calendar up to a year in advance of what he wants to do. So it's like, cool, we're going this vacation. I'm doing this, you know, run, because like he's a super marathon runner, but like, you know, whatever. I'm going to this concert. You know, he's part owner of Atlanta Hawks. So like, I'm going to, you know, these basketball games, I'm going to these sporting events, I'm doing this, like whatever he wants to do, he plans out, and then everything else works around him. So for instance, let's say a wedding pops on his calendar. It's like, all right, let me look. And it's like, oh, I'm already booked that day. I can't do it. Or someone wants him to do a podcast. Oh, I'm already booked that day. I can't do it. So obviously, you know, we all put the bigger stuff on there, but we don't put the little things on there. What are the little things? The little things can be like, hey, you know, I've got a podcast scheduled with my friend Ian Horowitz on July 3rd, 2022, or some ridiculous date in the future. And that's a commitment that I've already made, and I'm going to stick to that and everything moving forward. And also keep in mind, when you plan stuff far in advance, it's easy to plan around it, right? Because, you know, it's not, you know, stuff isn't, you know, as firm then. So I got a lot of value out of that. I like it because.
So I listened to him on the way in to the Mastermind weekend. I think that's where this statement almost came from. I popped it up on the thing, so if you want to share it, but I think that started resonating with me. And then on the way out, one of the guys shared a podcast, and the guy was talking about, he's like, you know, everyone's just out there fighting fires. And it's like almost literal for me, because I literally watch happen in real time. Like, you never know when a fire is going to happen. We go out, we put out a fire, we go home, we wait for the next run. Well, if you're doing that in your business life, and I never really, I've thought about this, but I've never thought about, right, at a high level, you start going, well, shit, like, man, like all I'm doing is putting out fires all day rather than trying to advance myself. And I think the guy talks about it. That's a whole nother story about, you know, taking what you can either procrastinate, you can automate, or you can delegate, you know, that those really start to stack, and they really start to resonate with you as you grow your business. And, you know, even just like the simple tasks, like we're talking to Michelle Wednesday night, right? We had to plan that out 60 days ahead of time. And this goes back, this actually all ties together. I'm gonna link these two together, and you can tell me I'm crazy here, Jay, but like, if you don't plan on how you're going to raise capital, you go to do a deal, it's going to be a mess all the way through and through, right? Like, and this is literally, it all ties together. Jumping on this podcast, this event tomorrow night with Michelle is planning how you're going to raise capital, deploy capital, and you're able to speak to investors about taking on capital that ultimately will allow you to give you more confidence to do more deals long term. And the other thing that we pre-planned was, Jason said, really try to keep it to 15 minutes. So we got 1 minute and 5 seconds left.
You know it, baby.
So,
all right, what do you want to talk about the last minute?
Well,
last minute. Anyone got any questions? Anyone want to hop in? We could do like a bonus round. I can ramp up my speed to 10.
Well, you could do that, or you could give a shout out to your brother who's playing this weekend, and we should all bet on him. I'm sure his odds are insanely high.
You got bets in by tomorrow night if you want to jump in on that. Tee times 12:15 on Thursday. Yeah, you can follow my brother Danny Balin at PGAchampionship.com. He's playing in the PGA Championship. This one's from 2018. I got about 7 other of these because he's been in 8. This is his 8th one. I'm headed out there tonight to down to Charleston to go to Kiowa to follow PGA Championship. So
that's awesome.
It'll be a fun event.
What do you think? So real quick, I know we only got 15 seconds left, but those guys, like, you want to talk about planners, like those guys they're planning every single move out on the golf course, right?
Dude, we should go over for this. So Lee Westwood, I was listening to an interview right on this computer right here that I'm streaming on. He was talking earlier, and they asked him about the Olympics. Is he playing in the Olympics? And he said no. And he had a few reasons why he's not going to play in the Olympics. But one of his main reasons, he's like, I've already committed to all the events that I wanted to do. And then the Olympics, which is obviously a big deal for most people, right, comes up, and he was like, nope, I already got a full calendar. I already got something that week. I can't do it. Right. And again, I'm not saying there was a few other things related to that. Like he still didn't 100% qualify for it yet. But he looks like he was a runner for it. There was a few things. But it was interesting. And I was like, he was like, listen, I'm getting older. I have only so many events and so many weeks that I can play, and this is their schedule. But they plan everything a year in advance. They figure out what their events are, what their what everything is. They figure it out, and I think that's big. And I don't know. I've been thinking, like, mentally in my head, thinking about ways to pre-populate calendar stuff. I'm not fully there yet. There's a lot of things. There's a lot. You start listening to Jesse Itzler, like, you will get creative. I promise you, because that's his number one thing. He's a creator and he's a freaking action taker. And man, and I mean, he also sold 3 $1 billion businesses. So he's a gangster.
So, like, one of the guys, just real quick, like, maybe you take this in because I haven't really fully adopted what I want to do yet, but one of the guys, he went back to a handwritten calendar because he doesn't want to be on his devices, because he doesn't want to get distracted, because that's the lifestyle he lives. And he has check marks for the tasks that he wants to do each day, and he goes in there and physically checks them off. Maybe that's what works for you. But I
get it. I saw a meme the other day. I don't remember who posted it, but he said, I think the only reason I write. It was something related to the satisfaction of crossing off stuff on your notebook, on your to-do list. How satisfied it is. And it's really satisfying for me, and I do it all the time, right? Like, everything's crossed off, right? Like, I got a few more things that have to be done before I get on a plane tonight, but that's how I operate. I do everything digitally as well. Like, I barely even remember how to write half the time because I don't ever need to write anything. The only thing I write, literally on a day-to-day basis, is a few to-do list items, just because I like the satisfaction of crossing it off.
Yeah, it makes you feel like even if there's 3 easy tasks, you're accomplished, right? So
that's right.
We'll be broadcasting tomorrow night. If you check out meetup.com, you can find us on there to get the Zoom link, or there's been some email blasts, and I'm sure we'll be sharing on Facebook, everywhere else. If that's what you're asking.
Make sure you register. So we only have 200 seats for the meetup, by the way, and they will fill up. And hold on, I'm going to post the meetup on here. So make sure you hop on. We let everybody in at we're doing it at 7:00, 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So just keep in mind, like, we'll let you in. Like, if you log in at 6:45, you won't be able to get in, but because your name is in there, you'll be able to be let in. If you know what I mean. Like, you'll be in the waiting room, I should say. So just stay in the waiting room at exactly 7 o'clock. We'll let everybody in.
Yep. And then Carlos was asking about the golf. Yes, that should be on nationally televised event. You should be able to watch
Golf Channel, whatever it is, CBS, NBC, I don't know. But you'll find it. It'll be there. All right, Ian, I will check you later, and we'll chat tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with Michelle.